1. Idea. I'm falling in love with my stepsister and we still live with our parents. It started so innocently. At first, Maya was just this person I tolerated. My dad married her mom, and she moved into our house. She wasn't exactly what I would call easy to get along with. She was loud, opinionated, and thought she was the queen of everything. But somehow, I found myself watching her a little more closely than I should have. And then it happened one evening, late at night, when we were both stuck doing homework. We were sitting across from each other at the kitchen table, and she was reading something on her phone. I was trying to focus, but every time I looked up, my eyes kept landing on her. There was this unspoken thing between us, a kind of tension that we'd never acknowledge. But it was there. Out of nowhere, she turned to me and asked, "What are you thinking?" I didn't know what to say. I had 1,000 thoughts swirling in my head, but none of them seemed appropriate. So, I just mumbled something about schoolwork. She didn't buy it. She gave me one of those looks, the kind that made me feel like she was looking right through me. After a few minutes, she set her phone down and stared at me. "I think you're more interesting than you let on," she said, and I froze. I wasn't sure what she meant by that, but it left me feeling exposed. It was strange. She never gave me attention like that. I shrugged it off, thinking it was just one of those things. The next few days, things started to change. It wasn't obvious at first, a little extra lingering when we passed each other in the hallway. But then, late one evening, when our parents were out, we found ourselves sitting on the couch, watching a movie. Maya had always been the type to make sarcastic comments, but this time, she leaned in and whispered something in my ear. I don't know why, but the way she said it made everything feel different. She smelled good. I felt her breath on my neck, and for the first time, I realized how much I liked her. I wanted to pull away, but I couldn't. I stayed there, frozen, as she inched closer. She placed her hand on mine, and the touch sent a jolt through my body. I told myself it was just a moment of weakness. I shouldn't be feeling this way. She was my stepsister, for God's sake. But every time I looked at her, it became harder to fight the growing attraction. The next night, we stayed up late again, and this time, it wasn't a coincidence. There was something different about how she looked at me, like she was waiting for me to make the first move. And I did. I didn't even think about it. I just leaned in and kissed her. It wasn't like anything I'd ever experienced before. It was desperate and messy, but it felt right. We pulled back and stared at each other, both of us surprised by the intensity of it. Since that night, we've been sneaking around, finding little moments to be together. It's not easy. We still live in the same house, our rooms just down the hall from each other. Every time our parents are home, we have to keep our distance. But when they're not around, it's like we're in our own world. I know what we're doing is wrong. I know it's messed up, and if anyone found out, we'd both be ruined. But when I look at her, I don't care. I don't care about the rules. I don't care about the consequences. All I care about is being with her. The hardest part is knowing that in just a few months, I'll be leaving for college. We'll be living our separate lives. I don't know what happens then. I don't know if we can go back to being just stepsiblings or if this thing between us is something we can't walk away from. But one thing is certain. I don't want to leave her. I don't want to stop feeling what I feel every time I'm near her. But I don't know how to make this work. I don't know if we can survive being apart, and I don't know what the future holds for us. All I know is that I'm in too deep, and there's no way out. 2. Idea. My cousin and I shared a one-night stand. Now we're at the same family reunion. It was one of those nights you don't expect. I'd just broken up with my girlfriend, and my friend invited me to a party to get my mind off things. I wasn't in the mood, but I went anyway. It was one of those typical house parties, people dancing, music blasting, and the air thick with the smell of alcohol. I didn't even know why I was there, but then I saw her. Emma. My cousin. We'd never been particularly close, but that night, there was something different about her. She was standing in the corner, holding a drink and laughing with a group of people. I caught her eye, and for a split second, I felt this strange pull, something I couldn't explain. We started talking. At first, it was casual. Just small talk about life, about the people at the party. But the more we spoke, the more I found myself drawn to her. She wasn't like anyone else at the party. She was smart, confident, and had this energy that made everything else seem less important. We didn't talk about the past. We didn't talk about family. We just talked, and as the night wore on, I found myself wanting to be closer to her. I didn't think much of it at first. She was beautiful, yes, but she was my cousin. It felt wrong to think about her in that way, but I couldn't stop myself. We ended up outside, away from the noise of the party. It was chilly, but neither of us cared. We talked some more, and before I knew it, we were kissing. It wasn't planned. It wasn't even something I thought about, it just happened. And once it started, I couldn't stop. That night, we ended up in her bed. I don't even remember how it all unfolded, but I do remember the feeling. It was intense, primal, and completely unexpected. I thought it would be a one-time thing, something that would stay in the past. But then, the next morning, we both woke up with the weight of what we'd done hanging over us. We didn't speak about it. We didn't need to. But it was there, lingering between us like a secret neither of us could escape. A few weeks later, my family invited me to a reunion. I didn't even think about it at first, but when I walked into the backyard, I saw her, Emma, my cousin, and everything came rushing back. I felt that same pull. I felt the heat between us, but this time, it was different. We couldn't ignore it. Not when we were surrounded by family. But the moment our eyes met, I knew she felt it too. She didn't say anything. Neither did I. But we both knew that what happened between us couldn't be erased. We didn't speak that day. Not once. But I could feel her watching me, and I couldn't stop thinking about the night we shared. Every time I caught her eye, my heart would race, and I couldn't help but wonder what would happen if we gave in again. It's wrong. I know it is. But every time I see her, I can't help myself. It's like there's this magnetic force pulling me toward her, and I don't know how to break free. 3. Idea. I'm having an affair with my boss, and now things are getting way too complicated. It started so innocently. I'd been working for her for a few months, and she was always professional, always the picture of calm and control. I admired her. I respected her. She had this confidence that made everyone else in the office look small. But there was something more to it. There was this quiet tension every time she spoke to me, and I began to notice the way she looked at me, not just as a subordinate, but as something more. One day, we were stuck at the office late. The others had gone home, and it was just the two of us. She was going over some reports, and I was working on a project. The silence felt normal at first, but then she stood up and came over to my desk. She was so close. Her perfume filled the air, and I could feel my heart start to race. "I've been meaning to talk to you," she said, her voice low. "You've been doing great work here. I'm impressed." I nodded, trying to ignore the way her presence made me feel. "Thank you. That means a lot." She paused for a second, her eyes never leaving mine. "You're smart," she said. "You have potential. Don't let anyone tell you otherwise." And then she kissed me. It was sudden, unexpected, but not unwelcome. I kissed her back, unable to stop myself. The intensity of the kiss sent a rush of emotions through me. I knew this was wrong. She was my boss. It could cost me my job. But in that moment, I didn't care. Since then, we've been sneaking around. Meetings that last too long, moments alone in the office, stolen glances in front of everyone else. It's gotten more complicated by the day. There are times when I wonder if this is all worth it. But every time I see her, I can't help myself. I want her more than anything. But now it's getting dangerous. The tension is building. What if someone finds out? What if my career is ruined? 3. Idea. I'm having an affair with my boss, and now things are getting way too complicated. It started so innocently. I'd been working for her for a few months, and she was always professional, always the picture of calm and control. I admired her. I respected her. She had this confidence that made everyone else in the office look small. But there was something more to it. There was this quiet tension every time she spoke to me, and I began to notice the way she looked at me, not just as a subordinate, but as something more. One day, we were stuck at the office late. The others had gone home, and it was just the two of us. She was going over some reports, and I was working on a project. The silence felt normal at first, but then she stood up and came over to my desk. She was so close. Her perfume filled the air, and I could feel my heart start to race. "I've been meaning to talk to you," she said, her voice low. "You've been doing great work here. I'm impressed." I nodded, trying to ignore the way her presence made me feel. "Thank you. That means a lot." She paused for a second, her eyes never leaving mine. "You're smart," she said. "You have potential. Don't let anyone tell you otherwise. And then she kissed me. It was sudden, unexpected, but not unwelcome. I kissed her back, unable to stop myself. The intensity of the kiss sent a rush of emotions through me. I knew this was wrong. She was my boss. It could cost me my job. But in that moment, I didn't care. Since then, we've been sneaking around. Meetings that last too long, moments alone in the office, stolen glances in front of everyone else. It's gotten more complicated by the day. There are times when I wonder if this is all worth it. But every time I see her, I can't help myself. I want her more than anything. But now it's getting dangerous. The tension is building. What if someone finds out? What if my career is ruined? Every day that I see her, I wonder if I'm playing with fire. I keep thinking about the consequences. What if it all comes crashing down? But I can't stop. There's something about her that pulls me in, something about the power she has over me. I want her more than I want to keep my job. And yet, part of me knows I can't have both. 4. Idea. I'm in love with my teacher and graduation is coming up. I never thought this would happen. I've been in love with my teacher for months now. And every time I see him, I feel like I'm falling even more. But graduation is just around the corner, and I don't know what I'll do when I have to leave. I know it's wrong. I know we can never be together. But every time he looks at me, I feel like he sees me, really sees me. And it's killing me to think that after graduation, I'll never see him again. It started innocently enough. He was my English teacher. He was always kind, always so encouraging. I admired his intellect, his way with words. But it wasn't just that. There was something in the way he carried himself. He was confident without being arrogant. And he had this way of making every student feel special, like their opinion mattered. He treated me like I wasn't just another student. He made me feel like I was important. At first, I told myself I was just fascinated by him. But then, as the months went by, I realized it was more than that. I started noticing the way my heart skipped when he smiled at me or when he asked me a question in class. And then one day, after class, he stayed behind to talk to me about an essay I had written. He told me it was brilliant, that it was one of the best he had ever read. He looked at me like he truly saw me. That's when it hit me I was in love with him. I tried to ignore it at first. I told myself it was just a passing phase, that I would get over it. But every time I saw him, I couldn't shake the feeling. I would look forward to class, to the small moments when we would talk. I knew it was dangerous, that nothing could ever come of it. But I couldn't help myself. Now, graduation is almost here. And I don't know what I'll do without him. I keep imagining what it would be like to talk to him outside of class, to tell him how I feel. But I know it's not possible. He's my teacher. He can't feel the same way. But I wish, more than anything, that he could. As graduation approaches, the pain of knowing I'll never see him again only grows. I try to tell myself it was just a silly crush, that I'll move on. But deep down, I know this feeling won't go away. I don't know what will happen after I leave, but for now, I just want to hold on to this last bit of time I have with him. 5. Idea. I had a fling with my best friend's girlfriend, and now she wants more. It was never supposed to happen. I had been best friends with Chris for years, and I always thought of his girlfriend, Sarah, as just that, his girlfriend. She was nice, funny, and we all hung out together all the time. I never even thought about her in that way. She was off limits. She was with Chris. And I respected that. Or at least, I thought I did. But then everything changed one night. We were at a party, celebrating the end of the semester. Everyone was drinking, having fun, and, of course, Chris was there with Sarah. But as the night went on, I started to notice something I hadn't before. Sarah was laughing at my jokes a little too much. She was standing just a little too close to me. And when Chris went outside for a smoke, she leaned in and whispered something that I couldn't ignore. "You've always been so attractive," she said. "It's hard not to notice." I was shocked. My mind was racing, and I didn't know how to respond. She was Chris's girlfriend. She couldn't possibly be flirting with me. But then she kissed me. It was one of those slow, inevitable moments. I should have stopped it. I should have pushed her away. But I didn't. I kissed her back, and everything spiraled from there. The chemistry between us was undeniable. We ended up in her bedroom, and for a few hours, it felt like we were the only two people in the world. I couldn't believe what was happening. But I didn't stop. I didn't want to stop. The next morning, I left quietly. I didn't want to face the consequences of what had just happened. I knew it was wrong. I knew it was a betrayal of my best friend. But I couldn't forget about Sarah. And that's when things got complicated. She started texting me. At first, it was just casual. But then, it got more intense. She told me she wanted more. She didn't want it to be a one-time thing. She wanted us to keep seeing each other. I didn't know what to do. Part of me wanted to say no, to end it before it ruined everything. But the other part of me was drawn to her, to the secret we shared. I didn't want it to end. Now, I'm stuck in this tangled web. I'm torn between my loyalty to Chris and the undeniable connection I have with Sarah. I know I can't keep this secret forever. Sooner or later, Chris will find out. And when he does, everything will change. But for now, I'm stuck. Torn between the right thing and the desire for something forbidden. 6. Idea. I kissed my friend's little sister, and now things are getting way too complicated. I never saw it coming. I mean, I'd always known Rachel, she's my best friend's younger sister. We've known each other forever. Growing up, I'd never looked at her in any way other than as a little sister. Sure, she was cute, but I never thought of her that way. She was always just there around, part of the group. But over the last year, something shifted. It was like I started noticing her in a different light. It started one night when I went over to Chris's house. He was out with his girlfriend, and Rachel was home alone. She invited me to hang out, just the two of us. We watched movies, played video games, and it felt like old times, but with something more. There was this energy between us. The way she smiled at me, the way she laughed. I realized I couldn't stop noticing her. And then it happened. We were sitting on the couch, and somehow we ended up closer than I ever imagined. Her hand brushed mine. I thought nothing of it at first, but the moment it happened, I felt a spark. A flash of something I couldn't ignore. She looked at me, and I couldn't read her expression. Was she feeling it too? Was it just me? Then, she leaned in. I froze, unsure of what was happening. Was I really about to kiss my best friend's little sister? She was younger than me. She was off limits. But the way she looked at me, the way her lips brushed against mine, it was too much. I kissed her back. The kiss wasn't soft or gentle. It was desperate, hungry, full of years of unspoken tension that neither of us had ever acknowledged. When we pulled away, we both seemed to be in shock. Neither of us knew what to say. I wanted to run, to get away from it, but at the same time, I couldn't. Since then, everything has been weird. We keep sneaking glances at each other, texting late at night, pretending like nothing happened. But the air is thick with unspoken desire. I can't stop thinking about her, and I know she feels the same way. But Chris is my best friend. I can't betray him. I can't ruin everything. But I also can't stop seeing Rachel in a way that I shouldn't. I don't know what to do. The guilt is killing me. The desire is eating me alive. And I can't tell anyone. I don't know how long we can keep this secret.